Welcome back to 3-Minute Theology. We'll be devoting Thursdays to church history. Many Christians are largely ignorant of church history, especially Baptists. For many Baptists, church history begins with Billy Graham, and for many of those my age or younger, we're not even clear about who he was. Even among Christians fairly well aware of the large contours of church history, many important details are often fuzzy. But church history matters. It matters for several reasons. First, even from a purely secular perspective, it's true that those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. In my lifetime, the church has faced numerous controversies, nearly all of which were almost identical to controversies already dealt with in the history of the church. We keep fighting the same theological battles over and over again because we are ignorant of the fact that the battle is already fought and decided hundreds or even thousands of years ago. The arguments haven't changed, and we would save so much time and effort and pain if we paid attention to the work the church has already done. There are also theological reasons to study church history. We stand, as Dr. Stephen Lawson has said, in a long line of godly men. Paul instructed Timothy to pass on what he had learned to faithful men who would be able to teach others also. We are Christians because, by the grace of God, men taught men who taught men who taught men who taught us the Christian faith. We do not stand alone in our faith. And the great men and women of God in our history still have so much wisdom and encouragement to impart to us today, if we will only take the time to listen to what they have to teach. A final reason to study church history is a recognition that God is the author not merely of Scripture, but of history. He works all things together according to the counsel of His will. As we study the history of the church, we see the outworkings of God's plan to redeem a people unto Himself. We see the promises of God vindicated again and again as the church is built, the gates of hell fail, and the glorious gospel triumphs. We always need to interpret history through Scripture, according to Scripture, but as we pay attention to history, we see and are encouraged by the work of God. Many books have been written on church history, most focusing on specific people or movements. For Baptist history, I recommend the works of Tom Nettles and Founders Ministries. For a broader evangelical history, Ian Murray is excellent. For a more general overview, I'd suggest first Stephen Lawson's series called A Long Line of Godly Men, the Church History Seminar from Capitol Hill Baptist Church, available on their website, and for something more thorough, Justo Gonzalez's 2-volume work, The Story of Christianity. There's also an excellent and very thorough church history series taught by Dr. James White, available through his church, Phoenix Reformed Baptist Church. But if you'd like the short version, join us again next week for a 3-minute overview of church history. Until then, keep on, and God bless.